Okay, so in today's class, we are going to start the second unit of Fundamental of Information Technology. But before that, um, for the revision of whatever we had studied in the last class, we are going to discuss some important MCQs which is related to the last class, so that we can practice. Okay. So first we will do the sum these MCQs, which are I think it's 15 or 20 questions. So the first question is, good evening. Okay, the first question is, the word computer has been derived from which of the following language? Okay, the first option is the Greek word, second one is the English, third is the Hindi, and fourth one is the D is the Latin word. Okay, you can choose the options A, B, C, D directly and tell me in the comment section as soon as possible. Okay. T. Rajnikant, option A. On C, option A. Anybody else? So basically, the word computer is derived from the option A, that is the Greek word. This is the derived the word compute. Okay. So the option A, Greek word, is the correct answer. The word computer has been derived from which of the following language? Greek language. Okay. Now the second question is, which of the following is the correct word of the four major functions of the computer? Correct order of the four major functions of the computer. First one is the process, output, input, then storage. The second is the input, then output, then process, storage. Option C is the process, storage, input, and output. And last one is the input, process, output, and storage. What is the correct order? Okay, correct. Option D is the correct answer. First input, then process that inputs, and then give the output as a result by processing the data, and then the result will be stored in storage unit. Okay, so option D is the correct order of the four major function of the computer. Now the next question is, the collecting the data and converting into information is called. Option A, processing, it's compiling or importing or exporting. So what is the basically the term which is used for the data that is converting into the information after the after giving input into the CPU? Correct. Option A is the correct answer. It's a called processing. Okay, the data will be processed, and that then it converting into the information, which is basically a output or result. So option A is the correct answer. It's a processing. Now the next question is, benefits of computers are. Okay, benefits of computers are, first is the very fast and can store huge amount of data. The second one is the provide accurate output, either input is correct or not. The third one is the think about the processing, and last one is the all of the above. Benefits of the computer are, क्या हो सकता है? Okay, the option D is the wrong answer. It's not a correct. Basically, the computer cannot think about the processing. So the second one is the provide accurate output, either input is correct or not. So if the input will be correct, then the output will also be the incorrect. So that's why it's not a option B. It's an provide accurate output, either input is correct or not, because it's totally depends on the input or instruction or programs that is used as an input. So it's a totally depends on the input. If the input is wrong, then the output will be also a wrong answer. So that's why B and C is not options or benefits of computer. So option A is the correct answer. It's very fast and can store huge amount of data. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. Is it clear? Option A is the correct answer, because the computer is the very fast and can store huge amount of data. But the option D is the wrong answer. All of the above is not correct. Okay, the next question is, which is the data that has been organized and presented in a meaningful fashion? So the first option is the a process, second one is the software, third one is the storage, and last is the information. So what is called the data that has been organized and presented in the meaningful fashion? So basically it's the data will be converted into a meaningful message or meaningful instruction, or you can say that the meaningful result. So it's a call a process. Option A is the information. Option D is the correct answer. The information is the data that has been organized and presented in the meaningful fashion. Okay, so basically data converted into the information after the processing that particular data. So data will be converting into information or meaningful fashion. Okay, so option D is the correct answer, that is the information. Now the next one is the steps and tasks needed to process data, such as responses to questions or clicking an icon are called. The first one is the instructions, the operating system, the application software, and the system unit. So basically, the steps and tasks needed to process. So basically, it's asking what is the step or task which is needed to process any kind of data, and after the processing, it converting into the information. So what is the called that step or task which is given to the CPU to process the data? हम कंप्यूटर को या सीपीयू को क्या चीज प्रोवाइड करते हैं ताकि वो प्रोसेस करे डेटा को? सो बेसिकली वी प्रोवाइड द इंस्ट्रक्शंस और स्टेप्स एंड टास्क विच इज कॉल्ड इंस्ट्रक्शन given to the CPU or computer to process the data. So option A is the correct answer. It's called instructions. Okay, which is basically based on the programming. Okay, so it's called instructions which needed to process the data, such as response to question or clicking on an icon. These all are the steps. Any kind of response or response to any kind of question or clicking any kind of icon, it's all are called the instructions which is needed to process the data. Now the next one is the earliest calculating device is. First one is the calculator, the second one is the abacus, the third one is difference engine, and last is the analytical engine. What is the first calculating device or earliest calculating device? Okay, the earliest calculating device is called abacus. I have already explained in the history of computer or evolution of the computer in the first class. The abacus is invented in the 1602, which is basically used for the addition and subtraction operation. So that's why the abacus is the correct answer. The abacus is the earliest calculating device which is invented by the China. Okay, or you can say that the first mechanical calculating device, because in the earliest day all the devices which is based on the computer theories, all are the mechanical devices. So this is the mechanical calculating devices. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. The earliest calculating device is the abacus. Now the next question is, Pascaline is also known by, the first is abacus, adding machine, division machine, or difference machine. Okay, so basically Pascaline is invented by the Blaise Pascal, which is the name is based on the second name, Blaise Pascal. Okay, so that's why it's called Pascaline. So Pascaline is known as the also known as correct. It's also known as the adding machine. So basically it's called mechanical adding machine. So option B is the correct answer. Okay, the abacus is the first mechanical calculating device, or you can say that the abacus also known as the mechanical calculating device, and the Pascaline is also known as the mechanical adding device or adding machine. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. Now the next question is, Analytical engine developed by option A, Blaise Pascal, Charles Babbage, Dennis Ritchie, or Alan Turing. So basically, analytical engine is invented in the 1837. Okay, तुक्का भी लगा सकते हो. Okay, so analytical engine is the basically a first general purpose computer which is invented by the Charles Babbage. So that's why the Charles Babbage is known as father of computer. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. Charles Babbage is developed analytical engine in 1837. Okay, next question is tabulating machine was the first electromechanical machine developed by. So the first one is the Herman Hollerith, Howard Aiken, Blaise Pascal, John Napier. So again, this is the tabulating machine is developed in the 1890. 1890 में इसको डेवलप किया गया और ये बेसिकली दिस इज द फर्स्ट इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल मशीन, द फर्स्ट इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल मशीन. Okay, so it's developed by option A, Herman Hollerith. Option A is the correct answer. It's developed by Herman Hollerith in 1890. Next is the name of the first general purpose electronic computer. Option A is the EDVAC, EDSAC, and UNIVAC and EDVAC. So option A, B, C, D. General purpose electronic computer. Okay, option C is the correct answer. UNIVAC is the first general purpose electronic computer which is invented in the 1951 by J.P. Eckert and John Moseley. Next is the first generation computers were based on. So basically, which type of switching device used in the first generation of computers? The first one is the transistor. Next, conductors, ICs, or vacuum tubes. So we have already discussed about in the first generation of computer, the switching devices are called the vacuum tubes. So option D is the correct answer. It's called vacuum tubes, which is basically used in the first generation of computer as a switching device. Okay, so option D is the correct answer, vacuum tubes. Next question is the computer built before the first generation computer was. So अभी मैंने बताया कि जितने भी कंप्यूटर फर्स्ट जनरेशन के पहले डेवलप्ड हुए थे लाइक बिफोर द 1940s, इट्स ऑल कॉल्ड द मैकेनिकल डिवाइसेस और इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल डिवाइसेस. बेसिकली इट्स ऑल द electromechanical devices. So option B is the correct answer. The computer built before the first generations. Okay, the first generation started from the 1940 to 1956. 56. This is the duration of the first generation of computer. So before the first generation, all the computer built as a electromechanical devices. Like abacus is the mechanical devices. Okay, Pascaline is the mechanical devices. So all the devices which is developed or built before the first generation, all the electromechanical devices. Now the next question is the first generation computers are used which languages? First is the machine language. Second one is the assembly language, both assembly and machine, and the high level language. So in the first generation of computer, all the devices or operating systems use the machine languages or basically based on the binary numbers. So option A is the correct answer. Machine languages are used in the first generation of computer. Okay, in the second generation, the assembly language and machine language both are used. So the first generation is used machine language, and the second generation, if there is the question like second generation computers are used which language, then option C will be the correct answer. So in this case, the option A, machine language, is the correct answer. Okay, so option A is the correct. Now the next one is the speed of the first generation computer was in. It's in nanoseconds, milliseconds, nanomilliseconds, or microseconds. So the first generation from the 1940 to 1956, all the machines or the storage devices which is used in the computers are in the microseconds. So the option D will be the correct answer. In the microseconds, basically the storage devices used in the first generations are magnetic drums, and which is the slowest storage devices. So it's measure in the microseconds. Okay, so speeds are in the microseconds in the first generation of computer. Now the next one is that the period of second generation computers was 1946 to 58, 40 to 60, 56 to 63, or 1957 to 1964. So the first generation started from the 1940 to 56. Then the second generation started from the 1956 and belongs to 1963. Lies between the 1956 to 63. Then the third generation started from 1964 to 1971. And the fourth generation from 1971. And the fifth generation is, you can say that the fifth generation is the present generation. Okay, so the answer of this question is the option C, 1956 to 63 is the second generation. Okay, IC or chips used in the computers are made with. सो आईसी किससे बनाए जाते हैं? सो बेसिकली जो है यहाँ पर हमें इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट चिप्स के जो कंपोनेंट है उसके बारे में क्वेश्चन है. सो ऑप्शन ए इज द कॉपर, द सेकेंड वन इज द एल्यूमिनियम, गोल्ड और सिलिकॉन. सो बेसिकली इट्स मेड बाय द semiconductor. So the silicon is the correct answer. Integrated circuits are made by the silicon. Artificial intelligence is an example of second generation computer, third generation computer, fourth generation computer, or fifth generation computer. It's a basically common answer. You can say that the artificial intelligence is the latest technology in the field of computing. So you can easily choose the fifth generation computer, which is the basically the present day computing technology. So artificial intelligence or AI computing is the fifth generation computer. Okay, so option D is the correct answer, fifth generation computer. Next one is the computer's basic architecture was developed by. So option A is the John von Neumann, Charles Babbage, Blaise Pascal, or Jordan Munn. So basically the architecture initially developed by the for the computers are by the John von Neumann. Okay, John von Neumann was introduced the first architecture of the computer in 1948. So option A is the correct answer. Who developed the integrated chip? So the integrated chip or IC chips are developed by the J.S. Kilby. Option C is the J.S. Kilby. So J.S. Kilby and Robert Newsey. So it's developed in the 1958. So option C, J.S. Kilby is the correct answer, who is developed the integrated chip or IC. Next is the tablet. PC is a type of, जो हम tablet use करते हैं. So the tablet is the which kind of the computer? Microcomputer, supercomputer, mini computer, or mainframe computer? So basically the tablets are the type of microcomputer. So option A is the correct answer, microcomputer. Tablet PCs are the microcomputer type of computer. Okay, it's based on the size. Now the next one is the desktop and personal computer are also known as supercomputer, mainframe computer, peripheral equipments, or microcomputers. It's also because it's all the desktop, PC, laptops, ultrabook, notebook. These all are the type of the microcomputers. Okay, so option D is the correct answer, microcomputer. Desktop and personal computers, or you can say that the PCs are the also known as the microcomputers. Okay, mobile phones are not a computer. Basically, the programmings are used or architecture are used is the based on the computing, but the mobile phones are not a computing devices. Okay, that are the basically the communication devices. So that's why the phone is not belongs to this type of computers. Now the next one is these are specially designed computers that perform complex calculation extremely rapidly. So I have discussed about the supercomputers. So the basically supercomputers are designed for the complex calculation and for the speeds. So the option B is the correct answer. These are the specially designed computer, because the supercomputers are belongs to the specially designed computer, or you can say that the special purpose computer category that perform the complex calculation. So option B is the correct answer, supercomputers. Now the next one is the first supercomputer developed in India is. Which one is the first supercomputer developed in India by the CDAC Pune? So option A is the correct answer. Param is developed by the India, which is the first supercomputer developed by the CDAC Pune in 1991. Okay, next one is the Pratyush supercomputer is dedicated for. Option A is the for multimedia, for weather forecasting, for recreations, or military personnel. Okay, the Pratyush is the supercomputer which is developed in January 2018. And basically this Pratyush is used for the weather forecasting. So option B is the correct answer. Pratyush supercomputer is dedicated for the weather forecasting. Which of the following in the India's first multi-petaflops supercomputer? Okay, basically this petaflops or multi-petaflops are the kind of the units which is floating point arithmetic. Floating point kaha jata hai isko. So basically it's multiples of the units to measure the space, okay, or storage capacity or speed capacity. So which of the following is the India's first multi-petaflop supercomputer? So option B is the correct answer. Pratyush is the India's first multi-petaflops PF supercomputers. It's called PF supercomputers. Okay, so basically floating points are operation per second. एक second में कितना floating point operation किया जा सकता है, that is called the flops or floating points. Okay, so it's a totally show the computer performance of the computer in the computing section. Now the 2 or 3 more questions. Which type of computers are used in the hospitals like ECG and dialysis? These are called the hybrid computers, which is used in the hospitals. Okay, so basically hybrid is the combination of the analog and digital computers, which is used in especially hospitals. Okay, so that's it for the MCQs practice. Now the second unit is called the basic components of computer. Okay, the syllabus or subtopics in the syllabus of unit 2 are the role of important input output devices in computer system. So the major topic is the input units and output units. So basically in the input units there are keyboards, terminal, and pointer, scanner, or vision input systems, touch screen. These all are the input units. The second topic is the output devices or output units like monitors, printers, like that. Okay, plotter, sound cards, speaker. These are the output devices. So this is the basic unit, or you can say that the easy unit. You can easily do or solve the questions which is related to this unit. So जल्दी से हम ये सारी चीजें कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं. द फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज द इनपुट आउटपुट यूनिट. सो बेसिकली the input unit is the computer accept coded information through input unit by the user. What is the input unit? Basically the computer accept coded information through the input unit by the users. It is a device that is used to give required information to the computer. So the device which is used for the give the data or give required information to the computer to process the any kind of the information which is demanded by the user. Okay, now the examples are keyboard, mouse. These are the most important or basic example of the input units. Now the second point is the output unit. This unit sends the processed result to the user. So basically it shows the results to the user after the processing the data. It is mainly used to display the desired result to the user as per input instruction. So basically it's totally depends on the type of input instruction which is given to the computer unit or CPU unit, and after the processing it shows the desired result, or shows the desired result on the display units, which is called the output units. So basically the output units is used to the display the result to the user. For example, the monitors, printers, plotters, these all are the basic output devices or basic output units. Now, the components of computer, there are three important components of computer. The first one is the input-output unit, and the second one is the central processing unit. This is called CPU, and the third one is the memory unit. Okay, so there are the three units, which is the most important component of computers. The first one is the input-output unit, second is the central processing unit, and third one is the memory unit. Now, the input unit, the computer accepts coded information through input unit by users. I have already said about the input units, and okay, it's repeated. So the next one is the central processing unit. So it consists of a set of registers, arithmetics, logic unit, and control unit. Okay, so CPU consists the registers. There are many types of register which is used in the CPU. Second one is the ALU, that is arithmetic logical unit, and the control unit, which together interpret the execute instruction in the assembly language. So the central processing unit is often called the brain of computer. Okay, this is the most common question which is based on the central processing unit, which is called the brain of the computer. So the answer is the central processing unit is the brain of the computer. The CPU is fabricated as a single integrated circuit and is also known as the microprocessors. So CPU जो है fabrication होता है किसमें, एक single chip होता है, that is called the microprocessor based integrated circuits. Okay, the CPU controls all the internal and external devices and perform arithmetic and logical operations. So basically CPU controls the input part and the output part, and based on the input it process the data or perform all the arithmetic operations or logical operations and give the output and store the result in the memory unit. So basically this is called the brain of the computer, which control the input section, output section, and memory section, all together process the data in the arithmetical logical unit. Okay, and also it control all the procedure or performances of the arithmetic logical unit and memory unit. So the ALU contains the electronic circuitry that execute all the arithmetic and logical operation on available data. ALU uses register to hold the data that is being processed. So basically registers are registers used to holding the data in the time of the processing. The second one is the control unit. Basically control unit coordinates with the input and output devices. Basically ये क्या करता है, बैलेंस करने का काम करता है. Okay, so it's balance the process or the balance the all the procedures or performance of the CPU within the input and output sections. So basically the main work of the control units are the coordinates. Okay, so it's a balance between the input and output devices. It organize the processing of data and instructions. कौन सा डेटा पहले प्रोसेस होगा, कौन सा डेटा बाद में प्रोसेस होगा. So it's also organize the process data to processing the data by the according to the instruction given by the user. The basic functions of control unit is to fetch the instruction stored in the main memory, identify the operation and the device involved in it, and accordingly generate control signals. So basically control unit कर क्या रहा है, सबसे पहले तो control unit is to fetch the instruction stored in the main memory. So it's fetching the instruction from the main memory. Okay, so first work is the fetching from main memory. Okay, then it's identify कि किस टाइप का ऑपरेशन उसे परफॉर्म करना है, किस टाइप का डिवाइसेस उस परफॉर्मेंस के लिए इन्वॉल्व करना है. सो इट्स आइडेंटिफाई द ऑपरेशंस. Then according to the operations, it select the devices, which type of devices is required to process this operation, and then it gives the control signals to the ALU to process the data and give the required result. So the main process is control units is the just fetching the data from the main memory, then identify that which type of operation required according to the fetched data, and that it select the devices which is required for that operation, and after the selecting devices, then it generate the control signal to the arithmetic logical unit, and then the ALU processing the data and give the required result. Now the next one is the memory unit. This unit is responsible to store programs or data on temporary or permanent basis. So basically after all the processing of the data, the memory unit is responsible to store all the programs or data and information according to the which type of requirement of memory. It's create the or activate the temporary basis or permanent basis. It can store all the informations after processing the data. It has primary memory, that is also called the main memory, and the second one is the secondary memory, which is also called auxiliary memory. Okay, so कई बार जो है लोग इसमें कंफ्यूज होते हैं. सो द मेन कंफ्यूजन इज द विच काइंड ऑफ मेमोरी इज कॉल्ड द प्राइमरी एंड द विच टाइप ऑफ मेमोरी इज कॉल्ड द ऑक्सिलरी मेमोरी. सो बेसिकली द मेन मेमोरी इज द प्राइमरी मेमोरी एंड द सेकेंडरी मेमोरी इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ऑक्सिलरी मेमोरी. ओके, हिंदी में इसको द्वितीयक मेमोरी कहा जाता है. Okay, the input data which is to be processed is brought into the main memory before processing. So the input data which is to be processed is brought into the main memory. So input data कहाँ भेजा जाता है? main memory में भेजा जाता है before processing. Now the next important component is the motherboard. The main circuit board content in the any computer is called motherboard. So basically the motherboard is a kind of the circuit board which is the basic board where all the registers are architected. So it is also known as the main board or logic board or system board or planner board. So these all are the questions, okay, which is called the main board, which is called the logic board, which is called the system board, or which is called the planner board. These all are the question related to the motherboard. So all the answer of all this confusion is the motherboard. Okay, motherboard is called main board, logic board, system board, or planner board. So the brain of computer is the CPU, but it's called the main board, logic board, and system board, and planner board. All the answer, the motherboard is the answer of all these questions. Okay, so brain of computer, CPU, and the main board, logic board, system board, and planner board is the motherboard, or main circuit board is also a motherboard. So components on motherboards, the first one is the CMOS battery. Okay, these all are the components on motherboard. motherboard में कौन कौन सी चीजें mainly मतलब वहां पे attached होते हैं. तो सबसे फर्स्ट है यहाँ पर CMOS battery. Okay, the CMOS battery means complementary metal oxide semiconductor. CMOS, C for complementary, M metal oxide semiconductor battery. This is the first component which is in the motherboard. The second one is the BIOS chip. So basically BIOS means basic input output system. Basic input output system. The third one is the fan, which is used to cooling. Okay, the fourth one is the expansion slots, which basically these slots is expand the memory. That's why the expansion slot are very useful in the motherboard. Now the fifth one is the SMPS. Basically SMPS is the supply or power supply. The full form of SMPS is the switched mode power supply. The sixth one is the PCI slot. So basically PCI slots, that means peripheral components or interconnect slots. These are the slots which can connect all the components. So peripheral component interconnect slots. So the name is the clearly mention what is the PCI. Basically, this is used for the interconnecting the all the slots of the motherboard. Okay, the last one is the processor chip, or the okay, the last two one is a processor chip, and the last one is the buses. Okay, so these are the buses are the basically the processor chip is the chip which is used for the processing the data, which is the most important section of the motherboard. You can say the processor chip is the kind of CPU. Okay, the last one is the buses. Basically the buses are the like sets of wire. We can say that the sets of wire or group of wires. So these are the component of motherboard. Now in the computer component, the first one the type of the component, the first one is the hardware component, second one is the software component. Those in the hardware component, there are the first input devices, output devices, and some devices which is used as a both as an input and output. So that's why this is called both input output devices. And the last one is the ports, which is input output ports. So the first one is the hardware component. Basically all the components that can be seen and touched by the user, that is called the hardware section. Okay, the computer hardware refers to the physical components, all the components of a computer that can be seen and touched by a user, that is called hardware. So by the use of these hardware devices, it made very easy for the computer for processing its data, store and retrieve. So basically these hardware are used for the processing the data, store the data or receive the data. So the input devices are the most important hardware of the computer. The input device can be defined as the electromechanical device that allows the user to feed data into the computer for analysis and storage to give the commands to the computer. It's basically used to commanding the computer. Some of the commonly used input devices are keyboard, mouse, trackball, joystick. These are the examples. So basically in exams, it's the basic questions are this device is which type of device, input or output, like that. So always remember which is the input devices, which one is the output devices. So the keyboards, mouse, trackball, joystick, light pen, touch screen, then a barcode reader, OMR, OCR reader, MICR reader, smart card reader, biometric sensor, scanner, mic, webcam. These all are the most important input devices for the computer. Okay, or you can say that the hardware of the computer or input devices section of the computer. So the first one is the keyboard. It is one of the most common input devices. The user can type text and command using these devices. So this is some basic type of the keyboard. You can see that all the letters which is used in the keyboards are called the alphanumeric keys. Okay, this section is the called the cursor control units, cursor control keys. Okay, up down left right के लिए जो use होता है. And the right hand section, there is the numeric keypad, which is basically used for the numerical or numbers, to input the numbers to the computer. The upper side, it has the function keys. Okay, F1, F2, F3, this type of the keys are called the function keys. Okay. So basically the function keys are like programmable key. Program can assign some specific action like the numbers from the F1 to F12. Basically ये F1 से लेकर के F12 तक होता है. So these are called a programmable keys. So you can type of keys on the keyboard. The first was the alphanumeric key. Basically A, B, C, D and 0 to 9. These all are called the alphanumeric keys. The second one is the numeric key, which is basically allocated in the right hand side of keyboard. This consists the digits and mathematical operations. Okay, like plus, minus, these all are the numeric key. The third one is the function key. So these are the programmable key. So basically the F1 to F12, these are all the numbers which is used in the function key. Basically it's already a programmed key which is directly create some programming or instruction to the computer, used to give the command or instruction to the computer. So function keys are the already programmable keys. Okay, now the fourth one is the cursor control key. So basically left, right, up, down, these are all called the cursor control key, which is used for the arrange the numeric keypad and alphanumeric keypad. Now the input devices keyboard. So QWERTY keyboard consists total 104 keys. This is the most important question. How many keys contain the QWERTY keyboard? Basically the basic QWERTY or complete QWERTY keyboard contains 104 keys. Okay, which is the standard number. It's a standard number. It can be varied according to the type of keyboard making by the some different types of brands. So the basic or standard keys, number of keys are the 104. Caps lock and num lock, basically number lock keys, are called the toggle key. So this is also an important thing. The terminology which is used for the caps lock and num lock is called the toggle key. Okay, because when pressed they toggle or changed their status from the one status to another. So basically जब आप caps lock को आप on करते हो या फिर press करते हो, then it can be converted into the small letter to capital letter. Okay, or capital letter to in small letter. Similarly number will be lock and unlock. So basically it after pressing these keys, it toggles or change the state. So that's why this is called toggle keys. The third is the shift, control and alt. These keys are called modifier keys. Okay, because it's used for the modify the any type of data. Okay, so shift, control and alt, these three keys are called the modifier keys. Okay, the toggle key and modifier key. Input devices में second है mouse. So it is a small handheld device having two buttons on its upper side and also has a small wheel between these buttons. So you can see that this is the small wheel which is presented in this between the buttons. So this one is the right click and left click. So it is a pointing device. Basically the mouse is the pointing device which provides a means to input data and command in the graphic form by selecting through moving an arrow called pointer. Okay, so you can say that by moving the arrows you can command by in the graphic form to the computer. Mouse was invented by Douglas Engelbart. Okay, it's invented by the Douglas Engelbart. तो डगलस एंजलबर्ट ने जो है इसको इन्वेंट किया at Stanford Research Center in 1963. So mouse is invented by the Douglas Engelbart. Okay, in 1963. The first one is the left click. It selects an item on the screen. Second one is the double click. It is used to open a document or program. Any kind of program you want to open, then you have to use the double click. Third one is the right click. It displays a list of command on the screen. So any kind of command you want to search in any type of program, then you have to use the right click for that program. Now the last one is the drag and drop. It is used to move an item on the screen. So if you want to moving any kind of icon, then you have to use the right drag and drop. Now the next one is the trackball. So this is the look of trackball. So this is the finger control. and there is the two buttons, forward and back internet button. Okay, the third is the next one is the scroll wheel. This is wheel which is used for the scrolling. Okay, so trackball, it is another pointing device like mouse. Okay, which is an alternative to a mouse. ये एक alternate है mouse के लिए. Trackball is used on CAD और CAM workstation. So basically CADing के लिए या जो design workstation होता है उसके लिए trackball use किया जाता है. And sometimes seen and computerized special purpose workstation, such as radar consoles in air traffic control room and sonar equipment on ship or submarine. So you can say that this trackball are based on the trackball system. The special type of devices used in the radar system और एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल रूम, जो हमारे जितने भी फ्लाइट्स वगैरह है उसके ट्रैफिक को कंट्रोल करने वाला जो सेक्शन होता है उसके लिए. देन सोनार इक्विपमेंट एंड शिप एंड सबमरीन्स, उनमें जो कंट्रोल सिस्टम होता है वहां पे इस तरह का डिवाइस आपको देखने को मिलेगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड ट्रैकबॉल. नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन इज द joystick. So you can see that this is called joystick. So joystick, it is a device that moves in all directions and control the movement of the cursors. So you can use the cursor, you can control the cursor by moving this pedal. Okay, so this is the next input device. Joystick are also basically जो flight simulators होते हैं वहां पे use होता है. Okay, so joysticks are used in the flight simulators and CAD and CAM system, also for the graphing. Joystick allows movement in the direction of 360 degrees. So you can move this joystick handle in the 360 directions, and then you can control the movement of the cursor. The next one is the light pen. So light pen is also an input device. It is electro-optical pointing device. This is called electro-optical. It is handheld electro-optical pointing device, which is used for marking, making drawings, graphics, and for menu selection. So right now I am using a type of light pen. So basically this is also I am using to write down here. This is also a light pen or type of light pen. Okay. So the pen contains a photocell in small tubes. It sends the light from the screen. So basically it's totally depends on the sense of light, and it can be used to write down or marking or making drawings or making graphs in any kind of screen. Okay. The next one is the biometric sensor. So it is a device which is recognize physical or behavioral traits for individuals. So sometimes biometric sensor are used for making attendance, okay, of the employees or students in the any kind of institution or organization like office, school, coaching centers. So there is used a device which is used for the attendance. So this is called the biometric sensor, which is also a type of input device. So biometric sensors are used in this device. There is the sensor which is called biometric sensors for making the attendance of employees and students in the organization. The next one is the scanner. So it is used to convert the data and image on paper into the digital form. So basically if you have any kind of paper data on the paper, then you can convert into that contents on the paper into the digital form. So that's why you can use a scanner. Okay, so scanner is an optical input device. Scanner is an optical input device and uses light as an input source to convert an image into a electronic form that can be stored on the computer. इसको हम कंप्यूटर में स्टोर कर सकते हैं as a data. Okay. Now the next one is the microphone. So basically microphone is used to convert the sound into the digital audio or any kind of sound. It can convert the received sound into the digital sound. Okay, so microphone, this is the type of microphone. We can send input to the computer through a special manual input device called microphone or mic. A mic converts the received sound into digitized sound or digital audio. So basically, the mic is the device which can convert the sound into the digital sound or digitized sound or digital audio, which is also a type of input device which can be given to the computer or CPU. Now the next one is the webcam. So this is also called web camera. So this is the web camera. It is a video capturing device. So webcam is a digital camera attached to the computers and can be used for video conferencing, online chatting, etc. So basically this is also an input device which input the digital videos to the computer as an input, okay, or as an input instructions. Now the next one is the touch screen. So you can see that this is the touch screen. Touch screen, it is an input device that accept input when the user place a fingertip on the computer screen. So this is the called the touch screen. It sends the infrared beam. Basically it's called infrared beams, and it can read the infrared beam. So touch screen have an infrared beam that crisscross the surface of the screen. So it's a basic uses in the ATM machines, which is based on the touch screen system, and it's also in the mobile screens and tablets. Nowadays a lot of laptops also use the touch screen system. So these are the some basic examples of the touch screen. Now the next one is the barcode reader. So basically it is an input device used for the reading printed barcodes, which is also called the universal product code available on the product to be sold. तो हर प्रोडक्ट में एक बार कोड वहां पे printed रहता है. So to read that barcode of any kind of product, we can use the barcode reader. Okay, so a perfect example of barcode reader used in the supermarket where barcode scanner reads the price of product. So you can see that this is the barcode and this is called the barcode reader. Okay, so the barcode is the a lot of information about the any kind of the product. Like these are the codes, or you can say that these are the barcode. So the first 3 digit is the country code. Okay, so it's recognized the which country is manufactured that product. Okay, so 890 is the country code or country barcode of the India. Okay, like 05 is the barcode for the USA. So कोई भी प्रोडक्ट जिसमें स्टार्टिंग में 05 होगा, that is the manufactured by the USA, and there is 890, then you can understand the product is manufactured in the country India. So this is the first digits are called the country code. So 890 is the country code of India. Then the other 4 digits, these digits used for the manufacturer code, कि किस कंपनी ने जो है उसको मैन्युफैक्चर किया है. So this is manufacturer code. The next one is the product code. Okay, so these codes represent the which type of product category. ये last one जो है ये category को show करता है. So basically it's called the bar code, which shows the country of the product, manufacturer codes, which type of company manufactured that product, which type of product, which category of product. This all shows by the barcodes. So the barcodes inventor is Norman Woodland. Norman Woodland. So basically the barcode is invented by the Norman Woodland, and the second partner of Norman Woodland is the Bernard Silver. The two guys who invented the barcode reader, Norman Woodland and Bernard Silver, in 1948. Okay, after 1948, they patent this barcode reader in 1952. So in India, it's introduced in the 1989. Sorry, 1999, 1999. Okay. So the inventor of the barcode, Norman Woodland and Bernard Silver, invented in 1948 and patented in 1952. And in India, it's introduced in 1998, 1999. Okay. So this is more than enough for the barcode. The next one is the optical mark reader, which is called the OMR. So OMR is also known as the optical mark recognition. Okay. OMR, optical mark reader or optical mark recognition. So OMR is widely used to read or detect the marks. So basically the name is clearly shows it used to detect the marks of objective types of test on a paper. So जो हम एग्जाम्स वगैरह में जो ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप पेपर देते हैं, so that are the detected by the optical mark reader. Okay, it is uses a beam of light that is reflected on the paper with marks to capture presence and absence of data. Okay, so ये marks को जो है recognize करता है, that's why it's also called optical mark recognition. Now the next one is the optical character recognition, that is called OCR. So basically OCR is the technique for the scanning of printed page, translating it, and then uses in the OCR software to recognize the image and ASCII text or editable. So basically if you have any kind of data in the paper, then by using the optical character recognition or OCR, you can convert into the digital form of the ASCII code or text. Okay, so OCR is a technique for the scanning of printed page. It can be scan the printed page, translating it, and then using the OCR software to recognize the image as ASCII text and editable. So you can easily edit these text on the paper in the your digital form. Okay, so it can be converted the data from paper to the digital data. It translates the array of dots into text that the computer can interpret as word and letter. So basically it uses the some dots by using the scanning, and then it can interpret the words and letters. OCR is widely used techniques for the acquiring the textual data from the image. आपको किसी भी इमेज से डेटा निकालना है तो उसके लिए OCR बेस्ड सॉफ्टवेयर है और बेस्ट डिवाइस है. Okay, the next one is the magnetic ink character recognition, that is called MICR. So MICR reads the characters by examining their shapes in a matrix form, and the information is then passed to the computer. The characters are printed using a special ink which is contain iron particles that can be magnetized. So basically the characters printed using a special ink, एक type का special ink आता है that is basically contain some iron particles and that can be magnetized और magnet के through जो है, because the name clearly shows magnetic ink character recognition. जो भी ऐसा इंक है जो मैग्नेटिक इंक के थ्रू उसमें लिखा गया है, that can be recognized by the MICR. So it is generally used in the bank to process the checks. जो चेक को प्रोसेस करने के लिए जो यूज किया जाता है, that is also called the MICR for recognize the magnetic encoding number printed at the bottom of the checks. Okay, so that's it for today. In next class we are going to discuss or complete the topic or unit 2. Then in next class we are going to discuss the output devices. So that's it for today's class. The input devices are completed, Next class we are discussing, we are going to discussing output devices, printers, all types and the types of printer. Okay, so thank you.
To watch the complete video, download Mining Gyan 2.0 app from the Play Store and enjoy seamless learning with Mining Gyan 2.0.